calling into
that's a
Skype.
good idea, Bill.
I got rid of that Skype phone number because it was costing me like $20 every
Buy
3
another
months.
one, dude.
Come on, man. You think I'm made of money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You bought DDP Yoga.
Yeah, I sure did. Charles handed it to me in a magical disc device. How much does that shit cost?
Like $100.
$100?
Yeah.
It just tells you to move around. I don't even see what the big deal is.
Yeah, those exercise things are really expensive.
Like Penis 90X?
This one's a good one.
Even the crappy ones. Unless they go on clear. It's the Billy Blank stuff.
Deal.
Billy Blank. Tybo.
Billy Blank. Okay.
Hey, Rip, I think you should turn your mic volume up.
I'll try.
I feel like you're not clear. Or maybe your mic should go closer inside your mouth.
How's that?
Sounds whatever.
Is this good? Alright.
I like that fade out idea. And I also like that song.
Yeah. I'm a genius.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent idea for a change. What's up, Internet? It's Thursday. You're watching ATP Live. Things have changed a little bit on the screen. Rixta is not here, but I have a picture here. Oh, it didn't work. Where's the picture? Hold on, I'll fix it right now. Hold on. Move to top. Is that right?
Whoa.
Boom. This is a funny picture. Anyway, I'm joined by Rip down south over there. What's up, Rip? How's it going?
Going good.
And I'm also joined by our sub, our bench warmer, BL. What's up, man?
Hey, everybody.
How's it going? Hey, are you doing a BL deal?
Everybody?
Maybe he did. I don't know.
There's Rickster.
In the chat?
No, he just appeared for a
he
second.
meant the picture and he's watching 30 seconds late.
Oh, man, they really got to fix that shit. Anyway, Beal, are you doing a Beal deal today?
Yeah, I'll try to do one after the show.
Cool. So, yeah, what's your shit? What's your channel?
My channel is twitch.tv/BLBeal. I just grab deals that I find on the internet and share it with you guys.
Yeah, you know your biggest fan is Mateo Galvin, right?
Oh, yeah, he loves the deals.
Mm-hmm.
Or he loves deals.
Yeah, he loves
You
both
know his
of
motto, you deal, you deal.
Take it easy. Oh, yeah. I guess that was a decently funny joke, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, this week is kind of interesting because there is not much going on. The big things that are really happening is MLG is this weekend, and MLG this weekend has Injustice and Killer Instinct. Do they have Smash?
Yes, they do.
So they have Injustice, Killer Instinct, and Smash. Those are the fighting quote-unquote games that they have. And they don't have Tekken. Is this the first MLG since they had Tekken, or has there been many more? I don't really follow it.
No, there's been a bunch. It's just that they haven't had fighting games again. So they've been doing League of Legends and StarCraft 2 still, as well as Call of Duty. And I think, they just actually came back from the X Games. So, I think is that ESPN or NBC? I think it's NBC, but the X Games where people like do motocross and like half pipes on BMX bicycles, etc.
Yeah.
So they do all that shit, and MLG finally partnered with the X Games for an event, and the people who won the event at the X Games for MLG with the video games, they actually got X Games medals. So that was kind of cool, kind of a big deal. And I think the highlights of it were shown on TV and stuff. So it was the first time that they've done that, and apparently they did really well. So they're going to try to do that again in the future. But yeah, they haven't done a lot of fighting games since that. And also interesting is that League of Legends is not at MLG Anaheim.
Whoa, why is that?
I don't know. I didn't even know that was the case until like 2 days ago or something.
So what is at MLG Anaheim? Other than those three fighting games?
They have Call of
They
Duty
also have
Ghosts.
Call of Duty Ghosts.
Did I just say that, Bill?
What? I don't know.
Listen, you guys need to get along. I know this is a new thing. This is a new dynamic here between you two.
I got this one, Bill. They got Call of Duty Ghosts. They have StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm. They have Smash Brothers Melee and Justice.
They have Call of Duty Ghost.
Good one, Eris. Good one.
Thanks. I like that one too.
I was just trying to cover up the blank air while he was looking it up.
Cover it up.
Call of Duty Ghosts has $80,000 in prizes. By the way.
Oh my god! Hey, is Fat playing in that?
No, I don't think he plays that one.
What is? I thought
think
Fat
he's trying
plays
to play
that. Titanfall.
Titanfall. Yes.
And they don't have Titanfall.
The video. No, they don't have Titanfall. StarCraft has 40K in prizes. Smash Brothers is actually Melee with 15K in prizes. That's pretty crazy for a game that's that old to have 15K in prizes. And Injustice has 7,500. Killer Instinct 7,500.
Is Melee the one on CRT TVs?
Yeah.
So they're gonna have CRT TVs and like N64 controllers.
They're gonna definitely have GameCube controllers. I don't know that they still will allow them to play on CRTs, although they might.
Wow, that's pretty wild. Okay. So what do you think about the No Tekken thing? I mean, you're doing commentary, right? It's already been a known thing. You're doing commentary this weekend, right?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so what games are you doing commentary for?
I'm doing commentary for Injustice and Killer Instinct.
Specifically, they said you can't do Smash?
Oh, they have a different team for Smash. They've got 3 guys for Smash, and for Killer Instinct and Injustice, they have 4 guys: me, Ultra David, Tom Brady, and Godspeed.
Ooh.
We are the rotating Killer Instinct / Injustice commentators.
The dream team. So it's 2 good ones and 2 shitty ones, right? I'll
Pretty
let you
much.
decide who's who. Oh man, that's a pretty good one. Internet, you guys could say in the chat who the A team and the B team is of those 4. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm
so
reading
yeah.
the chat right now, and speaking of prize money, they mentioned that the Dota 2 International Tournament is up to $10 million in their prize pot.
That's crazy.
But you
That
know how
is
that one works. That money's not
kinda
all straight from Valve. That's money from the spectators going to the players. That's really cool.
So that's a pot, not just pot bonus, that's actually a whole pot. For
It's a
the
spectator pot bonus. That's really crazy. Yeah,
So the spectators pay
are
for the pot.
basically, yeah.
Why doesn't MLG do that?
Right? Why doesn't everyone do that? It's because basically the spectators get something out of it. They get rewards in Dota 2 basically.
That's a pretty smart idea. How is Dota 2
Really
not a...
smart.
Oh, I guess Dota 2 is a really big deal, right?
It is a big deal. Yeah, right.
Huh. Okay, cool. This is all like
You think they
foreign
should-
stuff to me. I'm more interested in the fighting games, of course. I know yesterday a lot of random people were there at Wednesday Night Fights, and Rico Suave was at Wednesday Night Fights. You guys know him. He's an Injustice and Street Fighter player. And he was standing outside, and Ricksta walked up to me, and he was like, "What's up, Eris? What's up?" And he put his foot down. I swear it was 1 millimeter away from stepping on Rico Suave's shoes, and they looked like really nice shoes. Man, Rico Suave dodged a bullet because there was going to be a fist fight, and he was going to get fucked up by Ricksta, dude. Oh, man, it was a close one. Close call. It would have been Dudley. But, I mean, there was a lot of people around. There was a grip of randoms. People were celebrating in Injustice when they were beating like guys I've never seen before. So it was a pretty interesting tournament. Do you know what the numbers are for Injustice and Killer Instinct so far?
I have no idea. I just got back home, so I don't know anything actually.
Man, I'm
It'll
really
be fun.
I'm wondering why they didn't have Tekken this time.
I think
At MLG?
a lot.
Yeah.
I think a big part of it is just that the companies behind the games have to put money up for the games to be there. I think that's part of how MLG operates. And Tekken Tag 2 was there around launch. I think that was in 2012, which was the last time I commentated there. And it was only for one event. It did not turn into a season, etc. So I think it's just Namco saying what's up to the players and supporting them for that event. Obviously the turnout wasn't very good. I don't think we had 100 players or anything. We never did for Tekken 6 either. So
you think Injustice is going to pull over 100 players? I doubt that.
No, but they have Warner Brothers behind them who will give them the money anyway.
Unlimited
That's what I'm saying.
ammo.
Right.
Yeah, and Warner Brothers does
Got-
tend to put money out for tournaments. Look at what they did for Mortal Kombat 9 and Injustice at the previous Evolution.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we were all speculating, but we're pretty much, I would at least put my money on Mortal Kombat 10 being playable at EVO. I mean, it was,
Right.
I was kind of surprised it wasn't playable by everyone at E3. So,
Yeah. And we talked about this before, the other day, but basically, it might not be playable at EVO. I hope that they are, but because it was not playable at E3, might indicate that the game isn't quite ready to show off, in a public setting yet. I bet they want to show it at EVO, but will they get to? We'll have to wait and see.
well, both of you guys got to play it. In your opinion, if, let's say, the build you got to play was out on the showroom floor, do you feel like that build wasn't ready? Like, do you feel like that there was something wrong
There
with
was
that?
definitely some stuff in there that, you wouldn't really want people seeing yet.
Well, let me remind you, I'm pretty sure the first time they had a playable build of MK for the public, it had block infinites in it. So,
yeah, that probably exists, and we didn't even get that far. You know, I mean, we had some goofy block stuff going on anyway. And
You guys didn't
so
try
just
out Block Infinite? It's like the first thing I would try out.
we tried stuff, right, Bill?
Yeah, we tried a couple of things. We didn't really go through the whole string move list,
Mm-hmm.
but we
I mean,
already,
we had, like,
already
6
saw some
characters.
weird stuff going on, like jabs going through a character and stuff like that.
Yeah, like
Well, yeah.
moves, like, you know, you don't want to see moves going through,
Gotcha.
you know, other characters. So
So it's
I
not
don't-
ready.
It's
But-
not quite playable yet. I mean, it might be by the time Evo rolls around. We'll see.
I think it all
I just
depends
feel
on
like
their
they would've
marketing
announced it by-
department and whether or not they think it'll be a good thing to show it this early.
Well, the thing
But-
is, if they do have it playable at Evo, I have a sense that the build that you guys played is probably already an old build, right? That's usually how it works. Like, by the time you get your hands on something, there's already something that's already newer than that being worked on. So I'm pretty sure that there's probably going to be a playable build. I mean, I would bet on it. I would bet on that. They always have a big presence there.
Far,
So,
dude.
huh?
The game is still really far, dude. You know, the release date is 2015, not even like, you know, spring 2015 or anything. It could be summer 2015. So, I mean, we could be over a year away from the game still.
That's a good
It's still a
point.
ways away, and we only got like what 5-6 characters so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, but doesn't
I
the
think
game look really good to you guys? To me, it looks really complete. Like they just need to fix stuff.
They need to fix stuff and show off more. Like, if they wanted to show these same characters and they've updated just those characters for Evo, then yeah, they could make a playable build for that, I think. But is that their focus? Yeah, I don't know.
Or at least adding one or two more would be very important, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, they might just give us I think the safest thing for them to do at Evo would be give us a trailer for a new character or 2 new characters, whatever, and then update the E3 build to be, you know, more polished. I think that's their
Basically,
safest bet.
The big problem with the E3 build is that there's a lot of move properties that aren't tweaked for competition. For example, there's a lot of moves that are ridiculously safe, like Scorpion's teleport punch.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, they haven't really adjusted all the frames of that stuff yet. So,
Yeah, you know,
it's
another
bound to
thing
be
that you
now-
Another thing that you mentioned last week, Rip, which was like totally wrong that everyone yelled at me about, was that forward dashing does not require a meter in their stamina
Mhm.
gauge. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, all those things are details that could make a world of difference. You know,
Yeah.
so that's
super.
another reason why I don't think you know, people should be. The thing that I really hate, and I'm not going to really name anyone, but I was listening to people and trying to hear who's like what people are saying about MK10. Man, some of the complaints I was hearing are just like so fucking shitty. I mean, I couldn't believe it. You know, like they're complaining about stuff. Like I blocked it out because it was so stupid. But it was stuff like, you know, I want. I can't even remember. They were so dumb. Like, why would you even ask? Why would you even complain about something like that? Like, you know, one thing I already addressed. That's the only one I remember. But it's interactables. Like, people are like, fuck this. Interactables being back. Fuck that. That's not MK. And then on the other hand, Rip, you were mentioning how you don't even need a block button. If it has Scorpion and Sub-Zero, it would be MK. That's what you were saying, you know?
Right.
I don't necessarily think that personally. I mean, I compare that to Soul Calibur. If Soul Calibur, whatever it's on, 6 or 7, had no block button and it was back to block, that would be like, what is this? You know? When are they going to make the next real Soul Calibur? That's what I would think. You know? So I don't know if you're right about that. I think that's like a huge, like, if they don't put a block button in MK, I think that's a really crazy decision. What are your thoughts, guys? Both of you have played the new one. Beal?
I think it does capture the feel of MK. It's a lot less clunky than MK9. I would say it's closer to MK than Injustice.
Yeah, definitely. Didn't address the question though.
He's asking about the block button and whether you need it, Bill.
Like, you know, if you don't, if you have
it's a core. Yeah, as I was saying, it's a core feature of Mortal Kombat. That's why it feels more like Mortal Kombat than Injustice.
So you need it.
Because Injustice, you have to hold back to block.
You think you need it in a sequel?
It's like one of the defining characteristics. I would say
agree.
you need block button. You need the fatalities.
Right.
You
Exactly.
Scorpion, Sub-Zero.
Yeah, good point.
Right. And I disagree. I think that, you know, I can see why a bunch of fans would be upset if the block button was removed. But at the same time, I feel like the gameplay of MK revolved around, like, with the block button, especially, was with dash block, and also for moves that like required you to hold block while inputting it. You know, and I think like that is something that they've been moving away from the last couple of games. And I think it was kind of a surprise to people when Injustice didn't have a block button. So I think that it's something that they have been trying to slowly move away from. And I think that now with dash block not really being in the game, I know you can run block, and like I said before, that's not really the same thing as dash block was in MK9. I feel like they don't really need the block button anymore. That's all.
Changing the block button aspect of it would change everything, because the auto-correcting jump over stuff
Right.
would have to be changed. I mean, that would not work if you have to hold back to block. That'd be fucked up. Every single move is always a cross-up, no matter what range,
Yeah.
Definitely that would need to be changed. And I think once you start changing things like that, you start really changing the game at its core, But I don't know. I mean, that's all to be determined by them. If they think it needs to be changed, I think that's cool. One thing that Charles and I were talking about earlier, so we were looking, there's like a Steam sale going on right now for computer games, right? And we were just looking at the different games and seeing what's on sale, and he noticed one that neither of us had heard of. So we started watching the trailer of it. I don't remember what it was. It's some like Diablo knockoff, and it costs like
Torchlight.
30. What's that?
Torchlight 2?
No, it's not that. It's a game that neither of us had heard of. I forgot what it's called. But anyway, so we were watching the trailer, and then he realized that this game is not even out yet. But you can buy it, and when you buy it, you have access to the early build of the game. So you basically buy the game, you can play it, and what they're essentially doing, I believe, is they're watching how people play the game, and they're changing it based on what people are doing with it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a beta test for people who want to buy the game. They purchase it, and they play it for the company and assist them in making the game better, right? And I was just thinking, would that be...
Yeah, they basically call that the early access program.
Hey, no interrupting, will ya? Would that be...
Keep going.
The question is, in my mind, would that be something that is doable for a fighting game? Because we all know fighting games have a problem with balance and patching at the moment. They come out, it's like, boom, here's the game. We don't care if Sabretooth is too good. We don't care if fucking whatever is too good. We'll patch it later. Is this something that is plausible, let's say, for a title like MK10? They release it, but you buy the game full price, and you have access to it early. And you can play it and kind of piggyback along with the development of the game. Do you guys think that this is something that's possible for games in the future? Sounds like Beal is itching to answer.
There's already a fighting game that's already doing this. Exactly. There's Yatagarasu. It was kickstarted, and it was, I believe, recently greenlighted.
So they're just developing it from scratch this way? I've never heard of it. Why have I never heard of it?
Yatagarasu is the one that looks like an indie game, but it plays like Third Strike. It looks like Third Strike. Also, Skullgirls is doing the same thing too. It gives you early access. It gives you like the early, like big band and squiggly characters.
Yeah, but these are all brand new IPs, right?
Yeah, they're all brand new. I haven't heard of like a modern one doing that though.
Yeah, I mean
like big name.
Go ahead, Rip. What are you thinking?
The way I see it, NetherRealms already does this with MK9 and Injustice. You get the game, and then they go, "Hey, look, Deathstroke's shooting a lot of guns. Let's change that." It's no different.
And the first downside I saw to that idea was that they would lose out on the big explosive launch. Everyone would already know, oh, this is Scorpion, this is whatever, and so when the game launches, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, I guess, right? But I don't know. I guess I'm thinking of it too much like a competitor. I don't like the patches overall. I like that they patched the problems, but I don't like the way it happens. And for competitors, it's fucked up, I think. So
I think fighting games it doesn't really work that way. It doesn't work well that way for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because we're not used to it or what, but I mean, in League of Legends, when things change, I'm like, oh, damn it. Like, they nerf my character. God damn it. Or like, it's like they buff my character. Woohoo, let me go check this out. But I think most time in fighting games is like nerf, nerf, nerf. You don't really get buffs, and if you do get a major revision like that, it's like, oh, well, now you just bought Super Street Fighter 4, or now you bought Super Street Fighter 4 Ultra Edition, 2016 or whatever. So it doesn't seem to work well. And I was talking to someone about this, how the patching model for fighting games versus like RTS is like, they're saying if fighting games got patched like League of Legends, people would be happy with it. And then I don't know if I agree with that, because I feel like people just get upset all the time at it. Like it doesn't seem to go well.
Yeah.
Maybe we
The
just
thing with the
yep.
the thing with the current Street Fighter system is that people tend to get longer releases, so they get used to the system before it changes. Whereas in League of Legends, there's a lot more constant patching, and a lot of people get really pissed at the League of Legends style patching. I've heard people get death threats for patching nerfing a character.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty cool. That sounds really tight, actually. Who's the one getting threatened?
Like
The
probably the programmers, community
Wow.
managers.
Oh my god. They have to have bodyguards and shit escort them? Oh my god, that game's too popular. It's as popular as like the sex industry and shit. The like human trafficking or some shit. What the fuck? Man, that's wild. I personally think that the whole idea of patching and fighting games really are like oil and water. I mean, the whole point of fighting games really is you create a system, you create a rule set, and then it's supposed to be good, right? All that set aside, good, fun, looks cool, moves. But to me, you take this thing that exists and then you work with it, and it's like a matter of problem solving. So there is a problem, let's say whatever it is, T4 Jin or whatever character is a big problem. You need to solve this problem. Now, Tekken Tag 2 doesn't really have this issue. Even though there are tiers, the game is balanced so well where the most effective, most dangerous characters are very hard to use. So then they become not that dangerous. And then the easier characters that are dangerous become very dangerous. Beal just dropped from the call. This kind of shit always happens. Anyway, I'll proceed until he figures this out. But what the fuck was I saying?
Yeah, what were you saying?
Oh, there's Beal.
Hey,
Oh yeah, the problem-solving aspect in general of fighting games. I just really think that in essence, at their heart, fighting games are about problem-solving. And patching, not only does it not really allow us to solve these problems, but it also makes it so that those of us who want to solve the problems almost are discouraged from doing so. Like let's say a game is released and a character is obviously too good and everyone's complaining about it. A lot of the time, it seems as though the scene is not even trying to figure out whether or not that character is beatable or not. Instead, they're thinking, well, they're just going to patch it. We'll just not worry about it. That in itself, this inclusion or this fingering of fighting games really, I think, damages the overall integrity of the concept of a fighting game. It really makes it lame to me. Like, I don't know, it's just, I feel like fighting games, they were perfect. The concept of them was perfect for the 90s, and then the internet came, and they don't do well with the internet. Fighting games and the internet don't mix well. Online, it doesn't work well because of latency, unless the game is designed perfectly for it, like Street Fighter 4. Or, you have this issue where, let's say, forget the online aspect of it, there's just it's so easily patched that it's damaging the community's strength as a community to solve problems. I really just, the whole idea stinks to me. I hate the concept. Do you guys have any, anything to add to that idea that I just presented, Beal?
well, I mean, if you look at some old time games like chess and stuff, it's been the same for so
Right.
long. It's built a giant community like chess, Go, any of those type of board games,
Mm-hmm.
and people just stick around because they're used to it.
The rules are the same. They're always going to be the same. Yeah.
Whereas if you look at something that's more patched, say the NBA with the new foul rule saying like you touch a guy, it's like, oh, foul. People really hate those kind of changes. It's like, hey, this isn't the game that we used to love. Kind of like baseball. People hella complain about the relief pitchers, and all these different changes like that.
Well, I mean, to me, the changes made to baseball and basketball are like the changes made to Street Fighter 4, where the game is essentially the same, but the details have changed due to specific reasons. I mean, think about it. Back in the day, football players needed to wear a leather helmet. And they're like, wait a minute, these guys are turning out retarded. Let's give them a real helmet. Okay, well, that's not like a major patch or a problem that changes the integrity of the game. It kind of makes sense.
Actually,
But
they got less concussions with the leather helmets because they were less willing to hit with their heads.
well,
But go on.
Yeah, thanks for that fantastic gem of an addition there. But my point is that I like the idea of a game staying similar. I like the
Mhm.
idea of games being patched to stay fresh, but not like just this new game coming out that's like, you know, totally different, killing the old game. Go on.
I just realized everything you kind of asked for about MKX, etc., is actually Killer Instinct. It was a
How do you
game
mean?
that wasn't really complete yet. Like it had 8 characters.
Oh yeah.
And then they put it out there, let people play it. They did patch it, but they only patched the things that were actually broken. Like things that weren't supposed to
Mm-hmm.
combo or whatever. Like things were actually broken. Like they left the stuff that was unbalanced still in there
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
And now it's looking like season 2 is coming out, and this looks like their opportunity to actually go back and rebalance it, similar to the way Street Fighter does it. And so I think they did a good job of staying away from the NRS style of patches where they like keep on balance changing
Mm-hmm.
throughout each edition. They let the game sit for a long time, and now they're taking the Street Fighter approach where it's like, or I assume they're taking the Street Fighter approach where now is their time to take a look at how things have evolved and kind of reset.
In season 2.
Right.
Well, that seems like it's definitely true. I always that game always goes like I always forget about it because I don't play it. But
Mhm.
that's definitely true. They released the game with like what 4 characters or something.
It was 6, yeah. They released it with 6 characters.
Yeah, so that's a cool idea. I like that idea, allowing the community to kind of tell you what's going on with your game in their hands.
Mhm.
But the thing is, I like new games and I like for sequels to be big changes, right? But when it's the same game and it's a good game, I really don't like it when the sequels kill off the old ones. I mean, Tekken always does that. And I don't know if I like that. Especially this time. I can't believe this time it happened too. Because Tekken Tag 2, I mean, it's a versus game. It's like a different game. Solo mode in Tekken Tag 2 is lame. But Tekken 6 is a different game too. It's so different. It's light years different, you know.
I wouldn't say it's light years different. It's got a tag and the rage is different. That's about it.
I think it's light years different. I think it's so different that there are a giant piece of the pie chart of people that hate Tekken Tag 2 and love that game. I mean, I think there is a huge group. I could tell you like 5 or 6 names of just my people I know. Just people
Mhm.
I know, like that just completely dropped the game. Not because of the tag and the rage, but because of the way the system is like unpredictable at times.
Sure.
So I don't know. I just forget the details. The concept or the idea is that I really wish that it wasn't the case, and that's not only for Tekken. That's for Soul Calibur as well. I mean, it's really whack. It's really
Hmm.
whack when that happens, and it doesn't even make sense to me. If they needed to update an old game, maybe they should. What's wrong with updating an old game, even when a sequel has come out? Is that absurd? Tekken 6, a new version of Tekken 6 comes out. Is that crazy? I don't know.
Street Fighter 3, Fourth Strike.
Yeah, why not? Exactly. People have already talked about that. Forthcoming, Street Fighter 3, forthcoming, or whatever. I mean, is that a really stupid idea, I wonder? Because there are people out there who really love the old games, and,
Mhm.
that's why they keep bringing them out. They keep releasing old games over and over. Third Strike, CVS2, tons of them. All of them, basically, at
What
this point. Go ahead.
wasn't what is the HD remix? Didn't people not like that? Isn't that essentially what they did?
Well, whether they liked it or not, a shitload of people played it, and it was at Evo for 2 or 3 years. So I don't know if they really liked it in the end or not. I think people in the end still play Super Turbo, and
Right.
HDR did not like stand the
Hold
test of
on.
time.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, I think that stuff like that is a great idea. For example, when they were making Third Strike, the HD version for PS3 and Xbox,
Mhm.
I was hoping that they would do a complete rebalance because, first of all, I knew that it wasn't going to be arcade perfect, and there's no way if it's not arcade perfect, the Street Fighter 3 purists are going to like it. So if they're not going to like it anyway, you
Yeah.
might as well make a brand new HDR, and perhaps you'll make someone else like it. Like grab some new people and fans. So I was really disappointed when I found out that the HD version of Third Strike on console was an attempt at the arcade version, which is a shitty idea because it's impossible. So I don't know how the fuck who thought that was a good idea, but I really think that it would have been a good idea doing an HD remix for Third Strike. And I think that doing an HD remix for, let's say, like Tekken 3 wouldn't be a terrible idea either. You know, like rebalance, bring back the old, you know, what's the problem?
Rebalance.
Yeah, like change it, you know, HD remix, change the game, maybe add some things and remove some things because or Tekken 4, you know, like I don't see that as being a terrible idea, especially if you're going to bring that game back anyway and it's going to be a shitty version that does poorly, like, you know, something that, let's say the online doesn't work or let's say there's lag like the Tekken Tag 1 HD, it's unplayable, you know? That's just what I'm thinking. If you're going to bring back a game and it's going to be trash, at least bring it back so that it's something new. It's new trash, you know?
The big problem is that a lot of these HD remixes, a lot of these, you know, new old classic releases are basically cash grabs for these companies. They just release them to the lowest bidder. Look at Soul Calibur 2 HD Online. They probably got like the cheapest European developer they could get to release the PAL version for us.
Yeah, that was such a weird one too because, okay, Soul Calibur 2 HD Online, the word online is in the title, and the actual online of the game is not only really bad in terms of connection, but in terms of features, it's like the first online they ever thought of. There's no lobbies, there's nothing, it's just a joke. And online is in the title of the game. So, and then it cost $20 when it came out. It's just like, what's going on? You know, what are these ideas they're having? I'm super grateful that the versus mode of Soul Calibur 2 HD Online is really good. It's just like the old game. I mean, if it wasn't, I would have been totally heartbroken. I could just imagine.
Versus?
Yeah, versus mode.
I thought you said things were different.
No, in terms of latency. That's what I mean. In terms of latency. It's perfect. There's no lag. That is the number one concern I had when the game was announced and all the way up to release. And when I actually played it and it had no lag, I was like so happy. Because, dude, Tekken Tag 1 HD is unplayable because of the lag. Even Third Strike, the first time I played it, I missed my first quick get up when I got knocked down, and I thought, there's a problem here. I knew it immediately. So, I mean, it's just really nice and refreshing that that aspect of it at least was done correctly. But, dude, the game has online in the title, and that shit sucks. It's
you know, going back to what you were saying about, you know, if they're going to re-release an old game, at least make it new so it's not just a crappy version of an old game, it's a new crappy version or something. Basically, I was thinking what they really should do then in that case is release both.
Right.
Like, if you're going to do like Tekken Tag 1, say, for example, like you already have it redone for the HD or whatever, then you just rebalance on top of it and make it like, you know, a Tekken Tag 1 Prime or something, which is exactly what Capcom did with Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. They had the arcade version and the new X Prime mode or whatever, you know, and it was like just a rebalanced version of the original game. Plus, if you wanted the old one, you still got the old one.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's totally true. I also just randomly came across a E3 gameplay demo of this dude playing one of the Halo games. And they're apparently bringing like Halo 2, I think, to the new console. What's it called? Xbox One?
Xbox One. Yeah.
So they're bringing the Halo 2 to the Xbox One. And did I say HBox?
Yeah, you did.
They're bringing it to the HBox. And, you know, it's got the brand new aesthetics, but at the touch of a button, you can switch it back to the old game. So, you know, it's like they're bringing both games back. Just give us this new concept.
That Halo set is actually crazy because it's actually like all 4 Halos. I think it's like the whole anthology.
Oh, cool.
And what they also did, though, is they updated all of the original maps to 1080p 60 frames per second.
Right.
You know, so it's like, but on top of that, they also like redesigned those Halo 2 maps with like brand new textures or whatever, you know? So
yeah, big time.
That's a crazy revamp.
That shit, I'm not even a Halo fan at all. And I was watching that and thinking, if I was a Halo fan, I would be loving this shit. Yeah. There was a part where he was in like a space station and looking out, and it was like space, right? He was looking out of a window into space. Man, he was playing the new version. I was like, oh, that looks cool, whatever. And then he put it on the old version, and it was like, oh man, it was like Tetris blocks. It was so gross. I was like, put that shit back on. So, you know, it's definitely something that I think people could look at. I think Go
Yeah,
ahead.
they've
Go
been
ahead.
working on a bunch of those remakes like that before. They already did the Halo Anniversary Edition, which was a huge success. So that's why I guess they went with this Master Chief Collection. They also did Fable Anniversary, which was a remaster of the original Fable, and that turned out really well as well.
Man, the original Fable sucked so bad.
The
They were
game sucked.
talking about
It was
how
good.
dope it's gonna be with like, there's gonna be like this evil and good karma system, and you can do all these amazing things. That game sucked ass. It was so shitty. I can't believe they're so full of shit. And every time they release a new game, they talk about all this dope stuff that's gonna be in it, and it's never in it. That series sucks. I don't like that series. Fuck that series, Bill.
All right. Well, here's a better series that's getting remastered as well. Grim Fandango. That was one of the big Sony announcements.
I've never heard of it. I mean, other people said, "Hey, Eris, what do you think about this?" And I honestly, I don't even know what it is. I
Neither
feel
do I.
kind of left out.
It's a big deal for adventure gamers, old school fans of LucasArts adventure games.
Dude, Sam & Max Hits the Road and Full Throttle are two of, and Day of the Tentacles. All three of those are some of my favorite games ever. I really love them. I went through hell trying to figure out what MS-DOS was when I was a kid to install these motherfuckers. I had the floppy boot disk thing. Oh man, it was a nightmare. And there was no YouTube back then, so I couldn't just look for a tutorial, It was a nightmare. They used to have a LucasArts, like, call me for help phone number. Oh man, it was 24/7 on that thing. Yeah, anyway, my point is I love that shit. And I still never heard of Grim Fandango. Maybe it's something I'll look into when it comes out.
Heard of it, but I've never
Shit,
played it.
definitely should. It's by the same guys.
Yeah.
Cool, they should really make Full Throttle then. Game's tight. Let's see what the problem is. They were making one for Xbox, and then it got completely canceled. I don't know what the
Yeah,
deal
and then
is.
one of the voice actors passed away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who? Ben?
It might have been Ben.
Oh, man, that would be kind of rough. Damn. Oh, you know what else I still haven't seen? Totally off topic is the new Metal Gear trailer. Did you guys see that?
I heard it's 30 minutes of gameplay or something out. Have you seen
30
that?
minutes?
I heard something was 30 minutes.
Jeez. I don't know. I didn't get to see that. I'm a pretty big Metal Gear fan too. Not necessarily that much as of late, but though Metal Gear 4 had some pretty juicy moments. So yeah, that's something I'm interested in too. But the whole idea, basically, we got here from me being pissed about fighting games in the first place. I really don't think fighting games and online fit well. I'm afraid that fighting games is like a archaic concept. Because if you're going to take away the problem solving away from the players with like the inclusion of online, then the appeal of the game itself is damaged. So then if you take away that appeal of the game, what are fighting games at all? What is the point? Really? It's going to change over and over again so many times. What's the point? Do you guys share this sentiment with me? Think about it.
I am, I've been trying to decide how to word all this. I've been exposed to people lately who are very into casual games or playing games casually, and especially fighting games. And I just been thinking so much about how it sucks that casual market like determines what games get made, really, and what games do well, etc. So even like our fighting games, like if it was a more casual market for it, like say a party game like Smash, right? Like of course some guys made it competitive, but it wasn't intended to be competitive, and the developers don't really see it as a competitive game. So even though you could play it competitively in a sense, it's not designed the way, and it's way more popular. Whereas what's the benefit for a company like Namco or even NetherRealms to make this competitive fighting game, and balance it when 90% of the people who play it are just going to be sitting there mashing buttons and trying to do a spear or something, Like,
well, you know what I have
weird.
to say to that? I got to tell you, in the 90s, okay, so back in the 90s when someone was making a game, let's say Capcom, right? Obviously, back then, if they had catered to the casual, they would have sold more back then, too. So, what? They didn't, and because they didn't, because they catered to the competitive scene, because the game in itself is competitive, there's only one other opponent. It's one guy. It's not 100 other guys that are made out of AI. It's one guy. You're focusing all your attention on the things this guy can do on the screen, and you're trying to kill him. So how is this not competitive in essence? It's a one-on-one. You control your character. You want to kill the other character. Just the next thought that pops into a human's mind is strategy. Boom. That's in your mind. So if that's the at the root, if that's the core of your gameplay, if that's what makes your game fun, why would you cater to someone who isn't competitive? The game in itself requires you to cater to competition because there's nothing else to do in it. You can't really do anything else in a fighting game but kill the other guy, right? You could do it with a hat on, and you could do it carrying a gun that shoots lasers, but you're still trying to kill one other guy. So, and then the funny, ironic thing about it is all these series sequels that keep coming out, like Street Fighter 4 and 5 and 6 and MK, these guys are sucking their own dicks right now saying, oh, look how great these games are, so great that we're going to re-release them 5 times, right? Well, dude, the reason they're great and the reason everyone agrees they're great is because it's Street Fighter and everyone knows it from when they were a kid. The game that they played when they were a kid that was designed for strategy, not for the casual player. You know, so it doesn't make sense to me. They designed them initially, they became famous and fantastic and revered by the people, designed as competitive games, with strategy being their primary, you know, design motivation, right? Well,
Okay.
I mean, I don't understand why they would veer away from that when they didn't back then. You know, like I don't get it. That's my
Dumbing
thing.
down for casuals is the trend nowadays because back then there wasn't really a casual market. The competitive market was really the only ones that would even take a look at fighting games. But nowadays, the casual market is huge. Take a look at their releases for Tekken Revolution, their releases for Soul Calibur Lost Swords, and even the mobile Unbreakable Souls. They're making, well, they're not making as much money as they hoped they would, but they are making money off of that. They're really
Well,
focusing on the single player experience.
I think that if a game is designed well, the way I personally think Street Fighter 4 is designed really well. And I think that though I don't like playing it, I don't like the way it feels personally, the design of it is perfect. Because what it does is it appeals to those jobbers out there that are like scrubs, right? But what it does is it appeals to them and then it molds them into a competitor. You know, these guys like Filipino Man and these randoms, they're not competitors, they're jobbers. But they liked the game so much that they were like, you know what? Let me take a stab at this fucking Valle clown that everyone says is so good. Let me take a stab at this whatever. You know, they've seen it on stream. I'm a human. I could do that. I like this game. So the design of Street Fighter 4, I think, is really well done because what it does is it takes the random shithead scrub and it turns him into a shithead competitor. And that's really what a good game should do. That's what old Street Fighters did do, you know? And the whole designing a game for scrubs, I don't really agree with. I personally don't. Your thoughts, Rip?
I mean, it's all at the end of the day, all these companies are trying to make money. You know, it
Right,
comes down to
right.
sales. And if the design of a game for scrubs is what sells, that's what they're gonna do.
I don't know. I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
The whole idea of the games being designed to make money. I mean, let's say for example, NetherRealm Studios and Mortal Kombat 10, they really don't have to worry. I mean, at this point, the
Right.
only thing they have to worry about is it making the expectations of the hype. But they don't have to worry about selling the game. The game's going to sell no matter what, you know? It's going to just be crazy.
You know, I think there's a line there. Like, I feel like that's probably what they felt like before. You know, and before MK started going downhill is what I meant. You know what I mean? I felt like they thought, you know, MK, you know, they could just put out whatever they wanted and they would just sell. And it didn't.
Which MK are you talking about?
I'm thinking, I think
MK4.
after 4, after 3,
Yeah.
after Ultimate 3, I think that's when MK kind of went downhill.
Yeah.
And you know, then they returned kind of, I think, back to their roots, and they kept it simple in MK9. I think that's what worked well. And you know, I think game reviews, you know, I don't know how much they matter nowadays, but I still think they have an impact on how much a game sells.
Oh
And
my
if the
god.
and if the next MK is too complicated because of like multi choices per character, etc. I'm saying too complicated for like a casual player, a reviewer, etc. Right? Then that could hurt their sales. And
Dude, you don't
I
even
think,
know. I gotta stop you right there and tell you something.
okay,
I can't tell you who because he's a friend of mine and it would really hurt his feelings. But
okay,
I know someone who has done reviews for a major, major video game entity,
okay.
and the reviews were for fighting games. He's been on there as a fighting game expert, and he told me that he didn't even play it. He just was like, whatever, I'll make all this shit up.
Hmm.
And this was for a major, major, major entity. So a billion people saw this review and made their decision based on it being completely made up. It's fucking bullshit. It's such bullshit. It's
Yeah,
Dude,
the whole game
reviews
review
are
scene is total
bullshit, dude.
They've
Oh
always-
man.
There's even worse. The people can get fired for low Metacritic scores, like developers or.
It's bullshit.
It's really
it's all,
bad.
but like my point in all of this was, I think that NetherRealms and Capcom, but Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, they have a much better chance of selling well as a fighting game. Whereas a game like Skullgirls, even though it may be more catered to a competitive audience, maybe it's a less casual game than even Street Fighter 4. It's not going to sell well just because it doesn't have the name behind it, and it's because people don't like that competitive fighting game style. Even, you know what I mean?
Street Fighter 4 is what you were talking about?
I was saying Skullgirls in comparison to
Skullgirls.
something like Street Fighter 4 or like any new fighting game.
Well, I mean, dude, it has to be appealing. Skullgirls is not appealing. It only appeals to weeboos. I mean, normal people don't look at that game and go, I want to be this big girl with a hat on and I want to fuck shit up with her. You know what? It's a niche market. I mean, Street Fighter is a way bigger market because not only does it have, the random weird-looking characters, but it also has... It appeals to everyone. There's a character for everyone in these games.
Sure.
I just think that that's like unfair that you bring up the Skullgirls one because it's so niche.
Right, but I'm saying, what other fighting games, new genre fighting games, you know what I mean? Like, what new fighting game has come out that appeals to everyone?
Just Street Fighter, really. I guess Mortal
I'm
Kombat.
saying that's not even new. I'm saying those are old franchises. I'm saying, what new franchise?
There are no new franchises.
Right, and I'm saying that doesn't exist. Like, and I'm saying it's because people don't want to play a competitive fighting game. And I'm saying the only ones that can do it still and still sell copies of the game are Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and Tekken, because they're established franchises.
So what I'm saying is, the problem is that people don't want to play a competitive fighting game, right? But that's like a whatever, oxymoron. Because fighting games are competitive. You can't not want to play a competitive fighting game. It doesn't exist. The whole point of a fighting game is that it's competitive. It's one-on-one. The key mode is versus mode. It's the key mode. If you release a fighting game without versus mode, you don't have a real fighting game that people take seriously. So how could someone even say that they don't want to play a competitive fighting game? They want to play a casual fighting game. That doesn't make sense to me. It's a fighting game. It's competitive.
I don't think casual people say, I don't want to play a competitive fighting game. I think they say, I don't play that game. It's too technical. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to play something easier.
Personally, I think Street Fighter 4 can be as technical as you want it to be, which is the beauty in its design. It can be fireballs and uppercuts the way Rip plays it, or it could be like really complex game, with lots of execution and difficulty if you want to take it to that level. So, it's not the way I see it is it's not like a developer has to just go for the casuals. And I think if they were to emphasize the concept of their game, I mean, dude, it's a fighting game. If they were just to understand that fighting games are based around strategy, and if they built a good strategic system, everyone will come. Everyone will like it because it will be fun. Like everyone likes Street Fighter 4. All the jobbers like it. But then there's something there that keeps them there and wants them to get better. There's the competitive aspect of it. It's doable.
So, what would you change about Tekken, the franchise, or the current state of Tekken, to make it more accessible to new players like this?
Ooh, big question. Yeah. Obviously, less characters is a good idea. I think that they shouldn't remove the movement, because if they remove the movement, that's like taking away the block button from MK or Soul Calibur. It's too integral. And the one time that they did remove the movement was kind of, the one time when everyone was like, what the hell is this? let's wait for Tekken 5. So I don't know.
I think Tekken Revolution already did a few things that were very casual friendly.
Definitely,
They
yeah.
lowered the, they
Yeah, we
lowered the
know we
character
know the
count.
changes. We've talked about it a million times. But I mean, do you agree with them, Beal? I know you love that game because you mash on that shit all day.
I hella mash. But anyways, I think it's a good step. They should do. I believe they should do two different versions of Tekken. One like Tekken Beginners, where it has the stats, Tekken Revolution, introduce characters slowly at a time, and then try to wean them into the Tekken Pro,
Well, they
where
could just if they want to do the RPG element, they could, but then just do like versus mode without it. Versus mode. Like in Soul Calibur 2, there's a Soul Edge mode, and that mode allows you to unlock different weapons for every character. And the weapons have different properties, like when you hit them, it takes your life or whatever, extra Danny or whatever. Well, there are two different versus modes in that game. There's extra versus and there's regular versus. I don't see any reason why they can't create this game with all these explosions and meters and power gauges and RPG elements, and then just have a versus mode without that bullshit. So the casual moron that you're trying to make money off of will be happy because it's there. But then the real game is also there too.
Why even make the real game at that point as a developer?
You don't need to, is what you're saying.
Right, because you already got your sales.
Well, I mean, that goes back to the concept of it being a fighting game. You create your game, and then you add stuff to it, like a customization system, which is what Namco did with Tekken. You add stuff to it to make more people like it. But the thing is, you don't have to make the stuff that you add to it the tournament stuff. Like you could make a game and then add the RPG element on top of it and allow people to have fun with that if they don't want to play with other humans.
Systems, yeah.
I just think
as a competitive player, I agree with that.
You just don't think there's a logical reason for them to do it.
I think exactly. I think like as a company developing games, like I'm like, why would I do that? Like I don't get it.
I mean, it's
what do you
just
think
a
about
matter of
gems?
It's a
integrity.
matter of what you want to. It's what you want to develop, I guess. But it just sucks that there's not really a market for it anymore. I guess is what really sucks.
It's the internet. The internet's what did it. The internet killed the market for strategy. Look at fucking games like Hearthstone. Hearthstone is so simple and or Diablo, or these games have very little strategy. You just click on things and it's like whatever. Fuck this. It's not even it's not even testing your mind.
I watch those card streams. Binkley, right? He streams SoulForge on Mondays, but he also tries to stream Hearthstone. And the difference is night and day. There's so much strategy in SoulForge, whereas in Hearthstone, it's basically it looks like it's RNG. You basically run out of cards and you just grab cards from the top of your deck and be the first one to pull out the right card.
Right. Yeah. Totally. And Hearthstone, I'm sure, is way more popular and bigger.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is crazy. I don't understand what the fuck happened. People are just getting way dumber. It's gonna be in that movie WALL-E.
Idiocracy. What? WALL-E?
Yeah, in WALL-E, everyone's fat and they sit on these chairs that they give you a big gulp whenever you want it and shit. That's how everyone's gonna be. Just morons. You can't even play a fighting game. You have to have a fucking RPG element in it. It's a catastrophe. It's such a nightmare when you think about it. Oh, it's crazy.
I guess I'm just happy I'm not a developer.
Yeah, it's really it's tough, man.
Yeah, it's really hard.
All I know is that fighting games used to be really fucking cool, man. It used to be about figuring it out and solving it, and the achievement did not need to be fed to you with a fucking silver spoon. It was the win was the achievement. You didn't need an explosion coming off your hands. You didn't need the ability to play 500 games and get added bonus to your life bar and bullshit like that. That is crazy.
Yeah, you gotta remember the type of casual audience they're catering to nowadays. They want the God of War experience. They want to get into a game and be already the best, just wiping opponents off left and right. And fighting games is one of the genres that completely shatters that. You could pick a complete badass like Devil, and you just get your ass kicked by Lil Tiny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, dude, it's so true. It's totally true. This guy looks like a badass. You get fucked up, and it's like, what is this game? Sucks. I gotta learn.
Beating me. God damn it.
Yeah, that's totally true, man. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. There are games. I think like you mentioned, Killer Instinct. And I think the MK series and also Street Fighter, these games do still have the competitive integrity in mind. It's just really hard for other games to emulate it, especially new games. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows what they're gonna do with the new Smash Brothers? I mean, okay, so I'm not a big Smash Brothers player, but personally, I feel like this, all that stink you made, Rip, about that whole tournament they had at E3 and how it was such a big deal, a huge success. That Reggie guy was there, tons of publicity. This is an opportunity that they have to make something dope because they know so many people are going to play it, and it's going to be their opportunity to just everyone's going to be looking at the game. They could be cutting into the Street Fighter fans. They could be cutting into everyone because it's a versus game. But who knows what they'll do with it? Who knows if they're even looking at it from the perspective of we can make a good game here. This is our opportunity. I think who knows? Who knows how competitive that game's going to be or what the changes are going to be. It's just it's saddening to me that these opportunities are presented, but just because of the fear of risking, losing out on the Filipino mans, because of that, they're gonna not even try it.
My hypothesis on that is that since the Wii U is struggling, they want to make it as casual friendly as possible.
Yeah, of course. It just feels like everything that comes out is even Dark Souls 2, which I love. I've lately been thinking about how much harder Dark Souls 1 was. I mean, it's just way harder. You don't really notice it, but when you look back and think about the details, you almost think like, fuck, I can't believe I even did that because this game is hard and that game was way harder. So even Dark Souls, a game that's literally like it was birthed of its difficulty level, that was the point, has been dumbed down and has been made more accessible to more people. It's the direction we're going in.
Yeah, I was watching a video of the comparison of difficulty in Dark Souls 1 and 2. The thing is, the difficulty in Dark Souls 1 was by design. There's areas or, like the enemies have different patterns, and that's how they set the difficulty. Whereas the difficulty in Dark Souls 2 seems like it's difficulty for the sake of difficulty, like tossing multiple enemies at you, like always, all the time, just multiple enemies.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of complaints about the method in which they made Dark Souls 2 difficult in some cases, were that they just put, like you said, two bosses at the same time. And it lacks, like, the, I guess, soul, for lack of a better word, that the other games had. Like, they less thought out bosses and stuff. It just seems
like... whole aha of figuring out the challenge.
Right, yeah.
Just the same challenge.
The challenge is there's two guys right here. You don't have to figure it out. I think that all genres are headed in that direction, unfortunately, which is really frustrating to me. And, we're all fans of Tekken. We're all, like, this is the primary thing we like the most. And, well, if they do that to Tekken, which chances are they will, because everyone's doing it and they got to be the cool kids, what are they going to produce? We don't know what we're going to get. The next Tekken, as I mentioned, I'm really excited for it because I know it's going to be super different. That's the thing that I'm really looking forward to the most. Whether it's shitty or not, I can't wait for it to be super different and to see what they have. See what their chops are now. It's like can you make something new? You've been making the same fucking game for a while now, and you've gotten pretty good at it. But other people don't really like it that much these days. So what are you going to do? It's like the ball's in their court, and everyone's just going to criticize it with all they've got. So, yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah, no matter what, good or bad. So it goes back to what you said. And I've said it many times, we don't really envy these developers. It's tough, really hard to make these games. I just really, I hate the fact that the strategy aspect in a fighting game, which is the entire concept, is being ignored for just casual players. I don't like it. And even the patching concept really deters people from being problem solvers.
Right.
Don't like that.
Yeah, what's actually semi on that topic. Before Killer Instinct came out, I was told a lot of times, like, how I was asking them how they're going to patch the game in, like, the interviews I did with developers, and they were telling me, like, oh, we're going to let the community decide, and the way they were going to try and help with Xbox One, there's a meld system, they call it, where there's like an interface on the right of the menu that's on it's like an Xbox interface, and it'll take you to like community focused topics just for that specific game. and they were gonna on there talk about like how, what do you guys think about spinals this or that, or did you know you can beat spinals this or that with this move, or like by doing this, or using this with this character. And they said they were gonna do all that, and they never did it. And it was like such a great idea, and I just hope that stuff like that actually comes out in the future.
Do you know why they never did it?
I bet it's just a matter of time and resources. That's usually what I mean, because they had the idea and it sounded fantastic, and it was like, instead of rebalancing the game for these scrubs, we're going to give them the answers built into the game's menu system, basically.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a fantastic idea, and it just it didn't get implemented for. My assumption is time, resources.
Yeah, I think in the future, the direction they're headed in will be that they'll have some in-house expert, and the game will be so malleable after launch due to patching and internet ease that eventually these experts in-house will be able to, instead of patch the game, they'll be able to put into the game, like you said, ways to beat it. So
Right.
the Deathstroke in his move list, he will have excerpts that say like, oh, the guns are good here, but if you do this, you'll be able to beat them. If you jump and blah blah blah, there's going to be details in the game on how to beat the things that people think are hard. This would be much more productive than a patch. And you know what? It might be way cheaper. I mean, all you got to do is pay one guy to write this into the game,
Yeah.
or maybe record one video, a little clip, and you push the A on the move in the practice mode, and it runs this clip of, whatever, Tom Brady doing this thing, showing you how to beat it. I think that is a much better allocation of time and money, and it's better for the integrity of the game.
Dude, when I first heard about the Xbox Meld system, I was working on the Killer Instinct strategy guide, and I was like, doesn't it make a lot of sense to just have the strategy guide available through Xbox Live in the game right there? So no matter what game you're playing, you're like, hey, where do I find this item in this, in this RPG or whatever I'm playing? Pull up the strategy guide, boom, you're in this area. This is where the item is. Oh, okay. Like, why doesn't that exist? Like, it blows my mind that these things
It
don't
already
exist.
exists on Steam. It just hasn't existed on Microsoft yet.
Yeah, I mean, but the Microsoft built the whole system for it, and then
Yeah.
they're not doing it. And going back to like the Meld system for Killer Instinct, they like I put up a Cold War tutorial video. I wasn't expecting it to get any real exposure. Like, it was the day Cold War came out. I was screaming. I was like, oh, let me show you guys a quick tutorial. I did a quick tutorial. I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll throw it over YouTube. Threw it up on YouTube. Like a month later or whatever, I find out it's on Meld. And like it's accessible from the game's menu system. I was like, holy shit, like I should have really tried on that tutorial, like, because I was just like off the cuff tutorial. And they put on this thing, and I was thinking back to like when we were doing the level up games for Tekken 6, and I was like, they had me edit an episode for PSN, and it never happened. Like I submitted to them and everything, it never happened. And I was like, wow, now it's like there and it's happening. I just wish that they would actually like communicate like, hey, like we're looking for this kind of tutorial, you know what I mean? You do good stuff. Can you do something so we can put it here so everyone can see it? Then it'd be a little bit clearer, and I think they could, actually get somewhere with that eventually. So
I think
idea.
I hope that that's the direction it's headed in.
Yeah.
I really do, because it's a better direction than just patching things. It's really all about knowledge and execution. If something is really hard to beat, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Just knowledge and execution can lower. I learned this so early in my fighting game, quote-unquote, career. The first competitive game I ever played was Soul Calibur 2. The first main character I ever picked in the first competitive game ever was Valdo. And in that game, Valdo versus Nightmare was a terrible matchup for me. It was so bad when we started. But it was just a matter of problem solving. You need to figure out what's available. And after all this time and trying, I turned that matchup around, and now I feel like it's in Valdo's favor. So if there was something in the game that told me right away, hey, Eris, don't worry about it, because not everyone is going to be as stubborn as me. A lot of people back then dropped Valdo. They were like, fuck this, Tidy Whitey, and I can't beat him with Valdo. I'm going to drop him. And if there was something in the game saying, hey, jack off, don't drop him, use your brain, it would be pretty nice. And to put something like that in the game would not require a whole team of developers and patch testing and shit. It would just take one guy to type it up and record one video and put it in the game. Boom. Hey, Eris, this is Eris from 10 years from now. Don't be a bitch. You can beat him. Don't worry about it, amigo. You got this. It's like one of those things where that's all you got to do, and it'll be fixed, and it will be cheap, and it will maintain the integrity of the fighting game. That the problem solving is what it's all about. Problem solving. They're taking it away with all this patching. I don't like it.
I
Do you
think they
guys
actually
have?
had.
Go
I think
ahead.
they
Go
actually
ahead.
had like some problem-solving tutorials in Virtual Fighter 4 Evolution, where they go over like a character's cheap moves and like what are some options for it and what are some options against it.
Yeah, VF has a really
cool.
good. I think I heard Socrates saying that VF 4 has really good tutorials, and I know that VF 5 has excellent practice mode features. Like when you do the move, it shows you the frame data of the move on the screen. You can't even take it off. It's a part of the move. Like you should know that this move means this. Boom, they're together. You know.
Yeah, I heard that Sega copyrighted the tutorial though, so no other fighting games can do
Damn.
anything similar to that.
Gotcha,
Wow.
bitch.
But then again,
Smart.
Namco copyrighted loading screen minigames, so
Sweet.
Did they really?
yeah, no other games can do that.
Does that mean
thing.
like
That's
only
why
Namco did
that's why they took it out of
it?
Okami. That's why Capcom took it out of Okami.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but now that you mention it, I do realize that they don't even put it in their own games, right? What game by Namco has a loading screen mini game?
Like all
Check.
the old ones before, they had like Galaga and Tekken and all that
Yeah, that's
stuff.
what I'm saying. They should do that. What if they had like a throw break trainer in the load screen of Tekken Tag 2? Like you could start throwing each other before the match starts. Who
Yeah, I
knows?
think I came up with Throwbreak Trainer though, so I don't think they can use that.
They could use it. You didn't
Trademark
patent it.
Dude, I mean, I'm a pride thing. That's all.
Whatever.
Trademark it, sell to Namco.
All right. Anyway, so before we call bitches, I want to let you guys,
We
you
were
know.
talking about Capcom, dude.
Oh yeah.
Whatever, it's short.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm interested.
Bill, tell them.
About what?
Capcom.
Oh yes, Capcom right now had a shareholder meeting where they were discussing their takeover defense, which means that people can't just like buy 51% of the stock and basically own the company. But they decided that Capcom should drop its takeover defense. So right now, Capcom is very buyable by multiple, companies. All they have to do is just invest in that stock and get 51%.
What? Well, that sounds really shitty to me. I mean, unless like the Cannon brothers buy it, like who could buy it? That would be good. What if Namco buys it? That would be tight. Namco, Bandai, Capcom.
What if
Ooh.
Nintendo buys it? Then Street Fighter will be exclusive to Nintendo platforms.
Yeah, this is like way beyond my jurisdiction. I don't even know what it really means. All I know is it's probably bad. I think.
Yeah, Sony and Nintendo are probably like the two big bidders, but I guess Sega with it, they recently bought Atlas and stuff, so they're in the buying mood.
Wow, no kidding.
And I heard since Amazon snatched up, the
Double Helix.
they're in a very buying mood as well. They recently released their Amazon Fire mobile device.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
So let's see what else they might come out with.
Yeah, this is a really interesting time. That's so crazy to me because now that you mention it, Capcom hasn't come out with anything lately. It's been a really long time since they've come out with any games. It's just Ultra. I don't know what the hell's going on. And then we were just looking at the Steam sale, and the new Dead Rising game, which is by Capcom, is already on sale for like 40% off. Like the second Charles saw that, he was like, "Man, they know this game's gonna suck." It's like. What's going on over there at Capcom? It's weird. It's weird to me.
They're in a lot of trouble. They're basically trying to get some quick cash. Like you see their Dead Rising free DLC, it's basically just skins and like a little fun multiplayer mode, and that's basically their DLC release for that game. Their big moneymaker is Monster Hunter, and that's pretty much Nintendo exclusive right now.
Yeah, Monster Hunter, the new one. I heard about that. I don't know. It's bad news to me. That sounds like bad news.
The same day that happened, Ono left Capcom Vancouver. He's still with Capcom, but it just so happened that on that same day that all happened, Ono also decided to leave Capcom Vancouver. Like it was strange.
Yeah, I think Capcom Vancouver was the one that was working on Dead Rising 3, so I guess he left there to work on something else back in Capcom Japan.
Yeah, I mean, this is all, like, I want to comment on it, but everything I say is totally uneducated, and all I know is, to me, it sounds bad. It sounds like they're not making enough money. It sounds like they're making wrong decisions or something,
Yeah, like we heard for a while that Capcom wasn't doing so hot. Like it has been going on and off for a while. But like it makes me wonder how good is Namco doing? Like is Namco gonna end up in the same place?
That's a good question. I mean, Namco is owned by Bandai, right?
Yeah,
So
Bandai Namco now. They even swapped the name officially.
yeah, so Bandai is a bigger company than Namco, obviously, if they're
Right.
going to own it.
That's true.
So I think that Namco is probably safe. Also, I would imagine that Namco has a lot of ways they're producing money. I'd say
Yeah.
more than Capcom. It feels.
Probably. I think
Yeah.
so. I mean, at least it feels that way too.
Yeah, it's totally uneducated, but at least based on the vibe, I feel as though Namco's arcade division is pretty big, and they have a few semi-successful games. And there's I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Also, the Gundam concept, that's a really
Mhm.
big franchise too. So this just sucks. I just hope that I want all these companies to do well. I mean, I'm not a huge Capcom dick sucker, but I want them to do great, and I want Namco to do great and everyone to do great, because they're making fighting games. And if they think that to do great they have to make shitty fighting games, everyone's in trouble because they're gonna do great, but they're gonna be making things that suck. To me, at least, So
Sounds like you're gonna be the one in trouble, but everyone else will be okay.
yeah, I'm gonna be in big trouble. I'm gonna be in huge fucking trouble because I'm gonna be over here playing fucking nothing because all these games are for schmucks. This whole I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm still really really excited for MK10, and I believe in that game because these guys they learn. They're learning
Yep.
machines. I believe in that game because I know that they learn from what they think are mistakes, and some of the things even they will agree that they were mistakes and they're headed in the right direction. So as a competitor, I'm looking at MK10. I haven't seen anything about the new Tekken. I haven't seen anything about what's coming down the pipe for that. But I'm hoping that I will be looking forward to that too. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they have in store. So we'll see. Evo. Before we move on to all that stuff, I do want to remind everybody, don't forget about Evo. It's coming up. It's going to be huge. Make your plans. Go to Evo. It's going to be amazing. The more I hear about it, the more amazing I know it's going to be. It's going to be dope. And then Strong
Sign up close in
Style.
11 days.
Oh, that's a great important fact. Sign-ups for Evo close in 11 days, according to Beal. And I always say it's a better idea, in case you're wondering, to stay at the hotel that the venue is at. Now, last year it was a big switcheroo because Evo was at the Paris, but it was actually at the Paris Ballroom, which was at another hotel. So you have to do your inside info and look at the maps, but I always recommend staying at the hotel that Evo is being held at instead of staying at the Golden Nugget, where it's the worst hotel on the planet and you're never going to want to stay there again. And it's now closed because it was so shitty.
And Evo's hotel this year is really cheap, Las Vegas hotel. So you don't really have to stay off script or etc. I mean, it is off script already. You don't have to find some ghetto hotel.
It is the ghetto hotel.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it's a nice hotel. It's the Las Vegas Hilton, actually. It was the nicest hotel Vegas had back in the 80s. So it was like hella dope back then. But definitely, it's going to be sick. Evo is going to be an amazing event. Strong Style also is coming up. Bronson mentioned something about wanting to be on the show either this week or soon because he has confirmed more international players that he wants to reveal. So this is like a big thing that it's almost like a game that's coming out. He's releasing characters. So it's a pretty cool idea. I really like it. Also, don't forget, Flying Wonky's donation drive is still going on. Don't forget about that. He's trying to get to Strong Style from Australia, and I think we've made some pretty good progress from the last time I've heard. So don't forget about that. Helping that guy out would be really a great thing to do, I would say. He does a lot of support for the Tekken scene, and I think he deserves it. Strong Style is going to be an amazing event. These two events are really like the stars in the sky to me. When I look at the, astronomical calendar, these are the two events. I can't wait, So unless you guys have anything else to add about those two things, I'll give you guys an opportunity to plug your shit and we could call some
I got
bitches.
something to add as well. Southeast Majors is going on.
Oh,
So there's that.
AK.
Yeah, it's the little,
Oh, yeah.
little AK.
So the 12-year-old kid from Philippines, he got sponsored to go to this tournament, Southwest Majors, which is going to have, according to Rixta, some foreign, as in Japanese, maybe even Korean players attending. So it's definitely going to be a hard tournament to win. Word on the street is if he does well at this tournament, he will be sponsored to go to Evo, which will be Bronson's worst nightmare. And my prophecy will come true. Yesterday, at Wednesday Night Fights, I can't believe I called it so well. But before Chet Chetty sat down to play grand finals against Just Frame James coming out of losers, I said that Chet Chetty will disappoint us at the finish line. And it went down to final round, and Chet Chetty lost. And he made us stay there till we had a 14-man tournament last longer than a 60-man tournament for Street Fighter. It was crazy. It was a rough one. It was a long fruit by the foot night.
You called that one exactly. It was like neck and neck all the way to the finish line, and then Chet just crapped himself. Like his horse just exploded.
Yep, he threw up in his mouth, BL style. Classic. Predictable. Anyway, so yeah, go ahead. You guys plug your stuff. Beal.
Catch my show, The Beal Deal, after this ATTB Live at twitch.tv/BLBeal. And follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/BLBeal for all the Beal deals.
Beal deals? What's the extra deal for? That's for BYOBB.
Extra B is a typo.
Oh, gotcha. He also said ATTP Live.
ATP, I heard it too.
What's the extra T for? Anyway, everyone can check out Beal. He does all kinds of weird shit and plays all kinds of shitty games. You might like that. Beal, I don't know what's going on in the room you're in. I don't know if that's your bedroom, but it looks like a fucking yard sale in there. What's going on over there? You got a ton of mattresses and shit laying around? That's hardcore.
You want to buy some random crap?
How much you want for all that shit?
Got this gauntlet thing from E3.
Beautiful. Nice. You have a ton of endless trash within hand's reach. Grab a wall scroll. Grab a wall scroll. Boom! Wall scroll, motherfucker! Nice. Nice job, Beal. Grab me a mattress. Make it a twin. I can see it in the background right there.
Yeah, it's on the back. I ain't grabbing it. That's the guest room.
Man, you're like a replicator, dude. Pretty good. Let me get a cheeseburger. No onions. Rip, plug your stuff.
Twitter.com/REEPAL. You can ask me questions there. Nowhere else, please. Separate from there, you have MLG this weekend. I'll be commentating MLG.TV/FGC. For those of you who asked me, MLG does have a mobile device app to watch MLG.TV. It's on iOS and Android, so you guys can get that to watch MLG stuff live. I think that's it.
Is that a kettlebell, Bill? Are you working? Kettlebell? All right.
I also got your guide.
Cool.
Get this autographed.
Did I write that?
I thought you said you helped out Mr. Wizard in writing it.
Is that the one that says my name? Does it say special thanks me?
Yeah, special thanks you and Dan Captain.
Oh yeah, that was a classic. Good old Soul Calibur 3. Oh man, I'm so old. Who are your bitch callings?
The bitches. Well, after the recent happenings, I think all the champions are bitches right now. Henan Barral got bitched out. The Miami Heat bitched out.
Damn.
Spain, hella bitches.
Damn, the whole country? Wow. Okay. Those are pretty hardcore bitch callings. I think he's trying to teach you how to do it, Rip.
Those suck.
So I got a lot of complaints. A lot of complaints about your reverse.
From who? From who? From bitches?
From the... Ooh, look at the look on his face right now. Anyway, I agree with the bitches. There's no reverse bitch calling. If you want to reverse bitch calling someone, I'm going to give you a separate opportunity to do that. But if you do that, you're a bitch. So go ahead. Do you have a reverse bitch calling or do you have a regular bitch calling?
I got a regular bitch calling.
Okay.
Think about it a little.
Did you say think about it a little? I don't have to. I meant to do this a couple weeks ago. I kept on forgetting. So it's most of these people in the chat. Not all. Some of these guys are all right. All right, but
they're all right. Anyway, go on.
Most of them. The ones with the cat face are all right. But
those are the ones I don't like. Those shitheads.
No. So it bothers me to no end when I see some girl on Twitch with, her low-cut shirt, etc., revealing everything. And, that to me is whatever. Like, I don't mind that they're doing it. But the bitches are all the people that go to watch that. Like, there is the internet that you're on, dude. There's so many more things you could be watching. Like,
Yeah.
why are you focusing on this? And like because of that, like people like Beal don't get viewers, but you guys give it to this? Like
Yeah.
seriously? You guys are bitches.
People love porn cams.
I'll tell you this, there's a lot of that out there. There's a lot of like the random girl who shows her boobs on stream and gets a ton of views playing a very popular game. I'll tell you this, if that were me, I would hella be doing that shit. I would hella be, right, okay, so that being said, all the people that tell me, oh, you gotta go check this out, if there is no substance to it, like for example, the other day I was watching an attractive girl playing Dark Souls 2, and she was playing the game, and she knew what she was doing. She wasn't just like acting a fool and just being a fool. She was playing the game, and I was watching that. If there is some substance to it, fine. But these people, especially like Nick, two memes, every time someone's got tits on the camera, he's like, dude, you gotta look at this shit. I just subscribed to her. It's my favorite. If you tell her, if you put a donation, she'll say whatever you want. It's like, dude, why are you even, condoning this? I don't even look at it. I'm with you. I stay away from it. If there is some substance there, that's a different story. But, obviously it's like Anna Nicole Smith. She's a genius because everyone is talking about how stupid she is. She's also dead. But besides that, when she was alive, Anna Nicole Smith was a genius because the whole world was talking about how stupid she is. So she's brilliant, right? It's like that. Okay, there are some geniuses out there that know how to cash grab and fucking, boom. I'll say whatever you want as long as you donate money. I'll say I'll gobble on your nutsack, whatever, if you donate money. This is real. This really happens on Twitch. I'm not even making this up. So, whatever. If you like it and you want to support it and you want to see more of it, watch it. If you don't like it, don't watch it. That's like me. It's just like anything else. It's no sweat off my back if you like fucking heroin. If that's your thing, handle it, man. Support heroin. Just do it up. But it's not my thing. I'm going to stay away from it. I don't really have anything against people that like it. So I guess I wouldn't call it a bitch calling. If you like it, internet, do it. But Rip thinks you guys are bitches. My bitch.
Whoa, hold on.
Okay.
Holy Striker fan said cam whores are Rip's bitch calling. That's not true. Like I don't mind the cam whores if that's what you want to call them. That's not what I call them, right? They're just girls. I'm just saying there's a bunch of guys, I assume,
that support
mainly
it.
from you guys in the chat, who go and support it, like just because they're girls. Like,
dude, all you gotta do is click and you can see all kinds of weird Himalayan white cat gazelle porno out there. The weirdest upside down helicopter kicks, fucking avocados, you name it. They got everything. They're putting shit in their ass. You don't even know what the fuck you're watching at the stroke of a mouse. Click, click, click. That's it. They're everywhere, okay? I don't know why you guys are so infatuated with just a little bit of cleavage and a game you don't even like. Nick doesn't even like the games that he's subscribing to this girl. He doesn't even like the games she plays. It's crazy. It's really bad. Really, no good. There's Nick right there.
it's all over.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is their thing. What was gonna be my bitch calling? I had it on the tip of my tongue. I was talking about it earlier.
Did Beal leave?
I don't know. His call dropped, I guess. Let me see if I could get him back. It'll give me an opportunity to remember who my bitch calling was.
I don't understand why people are mad at me for my bitch calling right now.
Are they?
Well, there's one that says "Rip, shut the fuck up."
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean they're mad.
Doesn't mean they're mad. They just don't like my voice, I guess.
It's not that bad. I think Bronson's is much worse.
I agree.
Much worse.
Stupid bird.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to Beal. It looks like he's gone.
So before you could cut it off.
Call failed. Yeah, he cut it off? Damn, that's pretty sick. I mean, definitely the thing on my mind today was the whole concept of the integrity of the base integrity of fighting games being compromised because they need to make dumbed down versions of games. Those players, man, the camera got all fucked up. Those players are fucking bitches!